My name is Sarah Martin and I'm a park guide here at George Washington Carver National Monument. My first park was in a little area known as New Bedford in Massachusetts. It's South Shore, so about right before the Cape and an hour south of Boston. And that is actually where I grew up. It's a urban area, and so I didn't even recognize that it was even there until I found out about it due to a teacher that I had in high school. And she was a seasonal ranger there, and that's how I got into the park service. I didn't really know about national parks the conventional way of people knowing about national parks, learning about them young, going and exploring. I was a high school junior, and I just recognized that there were these special places. Ultimately, the connection started really with her as my teacher. She was so instrumental in my life and helping me become the person I am today. And so in order to keep in contact with her once she retired, I started volunteering there in order to just be able to see her. And then I connected to the parks too. And I recognized that there was a group of people there that supported me personally and wanted to see me thrive as a human. And it really made me passionate to know that these people cared so much about me, but also cared past themselves about something larger. And when I recognized that New Bedford wasn't just, this urban city, that it was so much more and it had so much rich history, it really made me fall in love with the city.
My name is Ryan O'Connell and I'm a park guide at George Washington Carver National Monument. My first park was Joshua Tree National Park in Southern California, where I'm from. And our first trip was with the Boy Scouts, and so we went out to Joshua Tree, and the whole weekend was basically focused on climbing around on these massive rocks out in the desert. And we always went in November when it was the best time to go. It wasn't too hot, it wasn't too cold. And it was just being in this place where we could be and just be boys and run around and climb up on stuff and experience things. And shortly after that, also with the Boy Scouts, we went to Death Valley. Same sort of thing, just going out and seeing these places, these wide open spaces that are iconic American places to be, and features that you read about in books like The Lowest Place on Earth, and within sight of Mount Whitney, the lowest place in the lower 48. So I didn't realize that years later it would be a career.
My name is Valerie Golden. I'm a park guide at George Washington Carver National Monument. Well, I kind of come from a unique background because I grew up right outside of Gettysburg, actually. I spent a lot of my childhood in Gettysburg. And I think in my family, when we were over the summers, we would go on family trips. And I think the one clearest memory, the earliest clearest memory I have, would probably be when I went to Yellowstone for the very first time. And that was pretty amazing because it was actually kind of cool because it was my dad was there and then he wanted to bring us back, and it was this beautiful place. I loved it. And I had the first time I ever saw a geyser, and it was a wonderful experience.
I'm Jim Haney. I'm the park superintendent at George Washington Carver National Monument. The first parks I would have visited as a kid, I grew up in the Philadelphia area. There's several national parks around Philly. I visited Valley Forge, Gettysburg National Military Park, Independence, the Liberty Bell and Independence Hall. When I graduated college, I had a literature degree, and I had a hard time applying that to what I was going to do as a career. Fortunately, that summer I visited the Edgar Allan Poe House in Philadelphia, and I was really impressed by the park ranger there. I thought it was really cool, everything he was doing. He gave us a great tour of the house. He really connected with visitors. He spoke of Poe's very important influence on literature and art in general. So I thought to myself, this is what I'd like to do as a career, be a park ranger. So shortly after that, I applied for a job at Independence Park. Some of those sites associated with the founding of our nation. Absolutely loved my summer there, and fortunately I got a permanent position up at the Edgar Allan Poe National Historic Site the next year. And that's what began it all.